Good evening and thank you so much for joining us on tonight's main news. Let's look at some of the top stories. Former Zambia Revenue Authority Commissioner General KINGSLEY CHANDA arrested. CHACHACHA political party backs mining in the lower Zambezi. Casual workers at Zambia's biggest hospital accuse management of not remitting pension contributions. In international headlines, Senegalese opposition figure SONKO sentenced to 2 years in prison for corrupting young people. And in sports, PSG manager confirms Lionel Messi's departure. We have the details of this news shortly after the break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you so much for tuning in to present the news. My name is Louisia Nalupumbwe. The Zambia Consumer Association, ZACA, has charged that the reduction of fuel pump price by the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, in the country will not translate into a lower cost of living. Association President Juwa Sakala says the reduced fuel prices are not likely to reduce due to high exchange rate, as Zambia is an import-dependent country. He says government should come up with mechanisms that address the uncertainties in the exchange rate. Details are in this report.
31st May 2023, Wednesday, the Energy Regulation Board announced a downward adjustment of fuel pump price for diesel, petrol and kerosene. The reduction of the fuel pump price is due to a decline of prices on the international market. However, this move has been received with mixed feelings by some stakeholders, as the Zambia Consumers Association President Juwa Sakala says the reduction will not result to a reduction in the cost of doing business, citing that Zambia is still import dependent.
From them. But having said that, I also want to raise some concern on the dollar, because the dollar is going up. I was just looking at the exchange rate. It's about 19.6. So that also will make some hesitance in people responding to the reduction of price of fuel. So we hope government will also look at how they can stabilize the dollar so that these things move on par. You know, we have fuel reduction, then we have the dollar which is stabilized. Then we'll be happy to see that these things happening. Then we'll see the possible reduction in both the basic essential commodities, transport fares and so on and so forth.
Meanwhile, the National Union for Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, General Secretary Nelson Mwale is delighted with the move. He says the cost of living in the country is likely to see an improved shift, hence calling on government to provide tools that promotes good standard of living in the country.
National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, we are so grateful that we see a positive trajectory towards reduction of fuel. I think we are calling upon the new Donor administration to continue so that this fuel can go as low as 15 kwacha per liter, because when we do that, then we see our workers, our teachers in particular, getting salaries that will be meaningful. You realize that when fuel prices are going up, whatever we negotiate for with government is diluted. And so we are optimistic that by the time we reach November, December, as we are negotiating with government, the fuel prices could have reduced even further, so that whatever we agree with government will be that which will be meaningful.
Now, Zulu for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Casual workers at the University Teaching Hospital have accused management at the health facility of failing to remit their national pension scheme contribution, despite it being deducted from their salaries. The workers spoken to have told Camnet News that they are each month deducted 125 kwacha from salaries, but that the visit of the NAPSA officers has revealed that the institution has been pocketing their resources instead of remitting it. The workers have also accused management at the hospital of exploiting them by not employing them, despite assurance that they would be employed after working for 6 months. Details are in this report.
Over 200 casual workers at Zambia's biggest health facility, the University Teaching Hospital, are in limbo after finding that the institution has not been remitting their NAPSA contribution despite deducting it from their monthly pay. The workers, who sought to remain anonymous, have told this reporter that each month management from the institution deducts 125 kwacha from their salaries, but are surprised that when they went to NAPSA to check on their benefits, zero was all they could find in their accounts. These workers have since called on the relevant authorities to intervene in the matter and investigate who has been pocketing the money they have been contributing for many years.
On Friday, we went to NAPSA. Like you know, President Warandrea Tikabeni msendi mpia sheni kunapsa. But outcome ya eza zangu ati from 2018 kutu wa mbilo kubomba takwa wenda lama kunapsa ba UTH tabatwala UTH Adult Hospital. Mwaipusha ku management, each office you go to, they point at Mr. Chireshi, who happens to be the chief accountant. They deduct 125 kwacha every month.
But impia NAPSA yonse bala chita deduct takwa bempia tabatwala. But ku salary ilesa less than you to free for more according na contract to assign. So tulero mbako kubuteko baturore sheko as contractual workers by UTH tatwa kwa tama rights areas. So if tulera and if ngabachira tukopa pamenso ngana batutamfye nchito because
among other challenges, the casual workers have accused management at UTH of exploiting them, saying they were promised before being employed that they will be put on the payroll after working for a period of 6 months, but say they have worked for more than 4 years, with others working for 9 years without being fully employed, while others who have never even worked for the facility are every day being employed on their positions.
Vambo kusenda abantu abakunse bambeho barete so apopo tulera ndapa kuri abantu more than 20 abengi from outside batusha ifu mamani nomba fe barete tontonka nshishenshi
pezigati benango bakwira banyowani bangena nchito apezigati asebenza chira pale 2-3 months angena mfaka pa payroll but imena sebenza for 10 years pezigati ndikaenda kufunsa bakamba kuti no kudemba vacancies so pezigati baje babwira banyowani bangena bakamba kuti no replacement ane tifunsako ise replacement ise isakabwira liti yakuti bakatiganizireko na ise tasenza maizi ambiri kuti tikangele pa payroll kusina ma families na ise
lintu nale ambe nchito bale tu promise ati balatuingisha balatubika pa payroll within a short period of time but pali number I've been working here, it's now 5 years. From outside, on payroll direct. Ministry of Health.
Meanwhile, management at the facility responded to these concerns by broadcast time as UTH Senior Medical Superintendent Dr. Charles Mutemba's number was unreachable. This reporter will, however, continue to follow the matter to its logical conclusion. Prudence Chota.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Gary Nkombo says he has met union leaders and other management at the Lusaka City Council to try and resolve the non-payment of salaries. The minister says the local authority is not making the much-needed revenue, hence the need to find a possible solution to the challenges. Mr. Nkombo says a possible solution to the challenge has been identified and that in due course it will be communicated to the public. He says the meeting has been postponed to next week, where government will then make a decision on the way forward. Wednesday, council workers downed tools demanding non-payment of their 2-month salary arrears.
I think that we are not diminished. We have possible solutions which will communicate. As you have seen, we've postponed this meeting. It's going to continue next week. So there are possible solutions to this problem of salaries in the country.
The New Heritage Party has urged the United Party for National Development to take a leaf from heavily indebted countries like Ghana, who are making serious headways in their debt restructuring program simply by choosing to visit China, who is their biggest lender. In an interview, NHP President CHACHACHA notes that there has been a significant reduction in investor confidence in Zambia due to lack of significant progress in the country's debt restructuring process. She notes that Zambia's current debt situation may continue to negatively impact all sectors, hence the need for government to come up with a recovery plan aside from the International Monetary Fund IMF financing, which is tied to a successful debt restructuring process. Details are in this report.
The opposition New Heritage Party has joined stakeholders in the country who are demanding clear headways regarding Zambia's debt restructuring situation, stating that clearing the country's debt is key to making significant progress in all areas of development. Thursday, New Heritage Party President Shalakateka has demanded answers from Zambia's Minister of Finance Tumbeko Msokotwane, stating that there is need for him to clarify who is sitting to negotiate for Zambia, even as he calls for the official creditor committee to progress speedily on debt restructuring. Ms. Kateka says Zambia's current debt situation is seriously disadvantaging the country as both local and international investors seem to be losing confidence.
The IMF have tied giving us their loan to us resolving the debt situation. And the debt situation, again, was not resolved when they met in May this time. We missed December, we missed March, we missed May. Now, the consequences of not resolving this issue are quite grave, because it results in people not having confidence in our economy. It means our dollars exchange rate going up, and so on and so forth. The question we need to ask ourselves is, why has Zambia's creditors not been able to resolve this when they have done so for Ghana in such a short time? The difference is simple. The Ghana's leadership actually flew to Beijing to engage the Chinese, who are their largest lender. An issue we've been talking about for a very long time here. Why have our leadership here, not gone to Beijing to engage the Chinese and on a one-on-one basis?
Meanwhile, the New Heritage Party president has called for reconciliation between named priests in the Catholic Church and the United Party for National Development UPND, who have been at loggerheads as regards the cost of living in the country.
I think that we need, I know people are saying we need to call these two together, sit them down and get them to talk. The issue here is these are leaders of their various institutions, and these know exactly what they are doing. So when you sit them down, is that reconciliation going to be a real reconciliation? I believe that if they initiate that reconciliation themselves, it will be more natural than somebody like anybody going and saying, look, let's reconcile you. These are adults, and they should know that they are actually dividing this nation more by what is going on.
The NHP party president has therefore challenged the concerned parties to reach out and make amends with each other for the sake of peace in the country. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Kanchibia District Commissioner in Muchinga Province, Crispin Chilekwa, says works are being undertaken in 3 villages of Kanchibia constituency using the CDF fund. Mr. Chilekwa says among these works is a water scheme in Chief Chipepo's area, which has reached 100% completion, and construction of a palace for Senior Chief Kopa, and the electrification of Chief Kaninga's palace at a cost of 1 million kwacha each. He was speaking when United Party for National Development Secretary General Batuka Imenda paid a courtesy call on him during the party's working tour of Muchinga Province. Details are in this report.
of the progress that urban communities like Awata and Lusaka have made in transforming their lives using the Constituency Development Fund, and how the lives of some locals have been uplifted through cooperative funding and skills development, little has been said for rural areas. This is Kanchibia district of Muchinga province, where locals are elated that the rural community has also begun to see development using the said funds. Kanchibia District Commissioner Chris Pinchilekwa has highlighted a number of achievements so far, which include the water development scheme, construction of one chief's palace, and the electrification of another chief's palace, among other projects. He was speaking when United Party for National Development UPND Secretary General Batuke Imenda paid a courtesy call on him.
1 million kwacha is allocated for construction of Chief's Palace, and when we sat down as a district, we had come up with a senior chief who is going to be the first one to be built the palace. The 1 million kwacha said for that.
What's the name of the chief?
Chief Copper, Senior Chief Copper. We have another presidential directive, SG, 1 million kwacha for rural electrification. We are going to electrify Chief Kavinga's Palace this year. It's 1 million kwacha. The next year we will look for another, because these monies that will be coming every year will be receiving allocation for Chief's Palaces and also electrification of rural electrification. So that is another presidential directive that we are implementing. We have also a radio station, first ever Kanchibia radio station, which is also at 20%. We also have SG, the first ever police station, costing 1.5 million. But 3 days ago, the ministry...
It's costing how much?
1.5 million. Also the civic center costing 1.8 million. Then we have a mortuary, which is at 95%, costing 550.
Meanwhile, UPND Secretary General Batuke Imenda has urged the district commissioner and others to enhance CDF sensitization.
We want to show civility that Zambia belongs to all.
Yes.
When we say one Zambia, one nation, what we mean is that each and every Zambia from every corner of this country will benefit equitably from the resources of the country. So, it must be seen that whatever is going on here, we do not dismiss the efforts done by the Member of Parliament himself. That's why he's there. That's why people voted for him, to implement that which comes from government. And then your job is to tell the people of Kanchibia that this is how much you were allocated. This is how much has been received. And this is how much has been allocated to you. And the implementation are as follows.
The UPND Secretary General is in Muchinga province for a 6-day working visit in the company of other party officials. Zipporah Mshala reporting for Camnet TV News.
CHACHACHA party leader Eric Chanda has hinted that the mining in the Lower Zambezi National Park should be allowed to maximize the country's revenue to avert the prevailing economic challenges. Speaking when he featured on Camnet's television Thursday edition of the Breakfast Show, Mr. Chanda says the Zambian economy is financially collapsed and that the country needs to take advantage of all opportunities there is to raise resources. Meanwhile, environmentalist Robert Chimambo says halting mining activities in the Lower Zambezi National Park is not enough, but has called for the revocation of the mining licenses. We have details in this report.
Nearly a day after Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Engineer Collins Nzovu, haunted all mining activities in the Lower Zambezi National Park for failure by Mwembeshi Resources Limited to meet the guidelines provided by the Zambia Environmental Management Agency ZEMA. CHACHACHA party leader Eric Chanda, who Thursday morning featured on the Camnet television breakfast show, has however called for mining activities in the national park to continue, arguing that Zambia is currently financially collapsed and that the country needs more resources to resuscitate its economy.
These our so-called civil servants, they will not have payments in the near future because we will have nowhere to get money. So we have to weigh what is more important, making money for the country or keeping animals. Are those animals bringing any money to the economy of this country? Those animals can always be shifted somewhere else. So really, our economy is in distress. It is stressed. We need to make sure that we get whatever we can get under the soil to pay off our debt.
But environmentalist Robert Chimambo says haunting the mining activities alone is not enough to protect wildlife and the environment in the park, but has called on government to revoke the mining license to ensure that no mining activities takes place in the park.
The minister and both ministers, environment and mines, must come out categorical that since they've not met these conditions, that mining license have been cancelled. That's what people want to hear. Not this. We are talking government. You know, we can't have a ministry. We are under Kwefiakwe. No, it's holistic. We say no to these things. Exactly what the president promised when he was campaigning.
Mr. Chimambo, on the other hand, has appealed to those managing the national park to create a fund that should be channeled to communities around the area so that traditional leaders should see the benefits of the national park.
Let's create a fund, a wealth fund, where all those fellows that are making huge sums of money in tourism there, that money we should do, just like a constituency fund, we fund. Vaja abantu bazilipira ndalama in the chiefdoms around there so that the people are gaining from that wildlife. Also zienda zonse kwa America, we have a portion zienda to a wealth fund for the communities around the park. That is all the chiefs are saying.
For now, Mwembeshi Resources Limited has been told to hunt mining activities, but this does not translate into stopping of mining, as it is likely to continue if Mwembeshi meets the laid-down procedures by ZEMA. What then is the way forward for the national park? Only time will tell. Perez Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, former Zambia Revenue Authority ZRA Commissioner General Kingsley Chanda has been arrested and is detained at Lusaka's Woodlands Police Station following interrogations by the Joint Investigations Team. Before his detention, Mr. Chanda's farm and house in Ngwerere and New Kasama were searched by the Joint Investigations Team. According to impeccable sources, Mr. Chanda is alleged to be detained for invading police callouts in an alleged offense related to a case where he is accused of disposing of the Commission's vehicles to employees without following the due process. The former ZRA Commissioner General is yet to be charged. Meanwhile, police spokesperson Reha Monga confirmed the arrest without revealing the charge. The Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested the Southern Province Controller of Government Vehicles for willful failure to follow procedure in the disposal of properties belonging to the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Information and Ministry of Education. Levi Wangwambo, North Extension in Choma District, has been charged with 4 counts of willful failure to follow procedure contrary to the Anti-Corruption Act No. 3 of 2012. Details are that Levi Mwangwamba, on dates unknown but between 11th May 2016 and 31st December 2017 in Choma District, being a controller of government vehicles in Southern Province, did willfully fail to follow applicable procedures or guidelines regarding the disposal of properties, being motor vehicles and motorbikes separately, belonging to the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Information, Ministry of Education, and Zambia Police Service, which are public bodies. Further, Levi Mwangwambwa has been charged with 1 count of corrupt acquisition of public property. Details are that Levi Wangwamba and Mwamba Chanda, between 11th May 2016 and 31st December 2017, in Livingston District, jointly and acting together corruptly, acquired a motor vehicle Mitsubishi Rosa, bus belonging to the Ministry of Health, a public body, Commission acting head of corporate communications Dorothy Zumara says the duo has since been released on police bond and will appear in the Chuma Magistrate Court on 7th of June 2023. We take our first break. We'll be right back with more news.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there. From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
On National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest.
And the people that have got the passion and desire are equipped with something. They shouldn't be doing mining like Badeli Makandolo. No. Those people have got the capacity to turn around our economy. These same people that we look down on. We don't have to always be rushing for investors.
As they discuss Zambia's economy and pertinent issues
on TSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98, and Topstar channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. You lift one hand and I'll lift the other hand, because our man of God in a surrendered position is more dangerous than an entire army. In the name of the Lord Jesus, today God will remove every form of iniquity, every ounce of iniquity that has been around you. Then I said, behold, I have come to do your will, O God, to fulfill what is written of me. So that I can understand that when Mary is in that crowd, part of her is crying for them to choose Jesus over Barabbas. But she doesn't understand the mystery of redemption. That Jesus did not come to the world to die a normal death.
because a normal day does not do anything for you and I.
Your great and mighty power, the heavens declare. Your great and mighty power, you're greater than the greatest, you're mightier than the mightiest, you're stronger than the strongest, better than the best.
Welcome back. The Zambia National Union of Teachers, ZANUT, has signed an agreement with NatSave Bank that will allow ZANUT members to have access to a diverse range of credit facilities. Speaking at the signing of the agreement in Lusaka Thursday, ZANUT Deputy General Secretary Finance Mvwa Njilanji Siwila says the agreement will, among other things, culminate in financial literacy programs which will help transform the mindset of members regarding prudent utilization of the financial resources that may be exposed to them by virtue of the agreement. Meanwhile, NatSave Chief Executive Officer Malcolm Chabala says through the agreement, the bank expects an increase in the update of loans, which will in turn strengthen the bank's position and reinforce its vision of delivering financial inclusion in Zambia.
Thank you. Managing Director, what makes ZANUT more excited regarding this partnership is the content which will stand to benefit our members in various ways. Amongst them is financial literacy programs. These programs will greatly help transform and change the mindsets among our members regarding prudent utilization of financial resources that may be exposed to them by virtue of this partnership we are entering into today. Secondly, investment of opportunities that will be availed to our members, such as investing in bonds and other market ventures.
We aim to alleviate the financial burdens and provide teachers with the necessary financial support and financial literacy in excelling in their profession. As earlier alluded to, financial literacy is a cornerstone of all our living. And if we do not know how to work with our finances, we'll find that it becomes a burden to us. Money is supposed to make our lives easier and not become a burden. And so we see
Mobile City Phones Paradise head of marketing at Masambo Minanu has challenged other entities to engage in a social corporate responsibility that has a direct impact on reviving the country's economy. Addressing the media Thursday morning, Mr. Minanu says as one way of marking its existence in Zambia for 15 years in 2023, the company is to select 17 random customers from around the country on a fully sponsored trip to Livingston City as one way of promoting the tourism industry. He notes that the tourism industry is one area that also needs to be supported by locals if it's to survive and generate the much needed income.
We have the biggest, wonderful natural resource in Zambia. And if you look around, not everyone has been to Livingston. Not everyone has had an experience of the Victoria Falls. And as Mombo said, you say, you know what, as we are celebrating 15 years, we want to see on how we can easily also promote tourism in Zambia. We have nice phones, can take nice pictures, can create content to say, okay, fine, these people that we want to take, we want to have that lifetime experience. They are not driving there, they are not walking there, it is not a marathon. We are flying these people to Livingston. Okay, 17 of them, everything paid for. There's not any single coin that you are going to spend once you've been selected. What do we mean? Someone might be asking to say, no, what if someone is in Nakamshakende. This is the way that most politicians use Nakamshakende. They bought something from Mobile City. What's going to happen? It is the sole responsibility of Mobile City to make sure that person, they are here in Lusaka and straight at KK's International Airport. And
renowned Zambian Afropop musician Matthew Tembo has called for government support for the music industry in order to preserve the cultural values and principles of Zambia. Speaking to the media at Alliance Francaise Lusaka ahead of the Mtendere album launch on 10th June 2023, Mr. Tembo says if well supported, the music industry can positively contribute to the preservation of cultural values. Mr. Tembo says that more focus has been on pop music without incorporating all other musicians of different genres. It has since proposed the need to have musical schools that support aspirations of young people willing to endeavor in music as a career.
Any kind of music, but especially including the kind of music that I do. And the reason is it is our music. I play sirimba, I use sirimba, I use kalimba. Those are our instruments, and that culture is almost forgotten. And so through this music, it's like we get a glimpse of what we have. For sure, it is important for government to promote music in general, because I think music is becoming a formidable industry. There's lots of people, especially youth, that are doing music, and music has become their source of income. Music has employed all those people, and they live.
I wanted to say as Alliance Française that it's a great pleasure, and it's under our mandate to give some space all the time, constantly, frequently, to local artists, no matter their background or ages.
We take our last break. When we get back, we have the rest of the news.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. You lift one hand and I'll lift the other hand, because our man of God in a surrendered position is more dangerous than an entire army. In the name of the Lord Jesus, today God will remove every form of iniquity, every ounce of iniquity that has been around you. Then I said, behold, I have come to do your will, oh God, to fulfill what is written of me. So that I can understand that when Mary is in that crowd, part of her is crying for them to choose Jesus over Barabbas. But she doesn't understand the mystery of redemption. That Jesus did not come to the world to die a normal death, because a normal death does not do anything for you and I. Your great and mighty power, the heavens declare. Your great and mighty power, you're greater than the greatest, you're mightier than the mightiest, you're stronger than the strongest, better than the best.
Welcome back. In international news, a criminal court in Dakar sentenced Senegalese opposition politician, a candidate in the 2024 presidential election, to 2 years imprisonment on a charge of corrupting young people while acquitting him of rape. The criminal division also sentenced Mr. Sonko's co-accused Ndei Kadi, the owner of the beauty salon, where Mr. Sonko was accused of repeatedly abusing a female employee, to 2 years imprisonment. The corruption of youth, which consists of poaching or encouraging of a young person under the age of 21, is an offense under Senegalese law and not a crime like rape. Mr. Sonko would have been stripped of his electoral rights if he had been convicted in absentia of a crime such as rape. Here's a roundup of international news.
A court in Senegal on Thursday acquitted leading opposition politician and presidential aspirant Ousmane Sonko of charges of rape and making death threats, but sentenced him to 2 years in jail for corrupting youth. Sonko, 48, was accused of raping a woman who worked in a massage parlor in 2021 and making death threats against her. He denies wrongdoing and is boycotting court proceedings. The case has triggered violent protests on the streets of Senegal, with Sonko supporters denouncing the charges against him as politically motivated, which the government and the justice system deny. Senegal's electoral code prevents individuals convicted of criminal offense from running for political office. Separately, Sonko is appealing against a 6-month suspended prison sentence for libel. The implication of that separate conviction of his presidential bid are not yet clear.
Supporters of President Faustin Archange Touadéra rallied in the capital Bangui Wednesday to show support for a referendum vote on a new constitution. If approved, the constitution would reset presidential term limits, allowing Touadéra to seek a new mandate in 2024. Addressing the rally, the president said a new constitution was needed for the country's development. As far as I am concerned, I think that the new constitution we're going to introduce will help our country, the Central African Republic, to develop. That's why I'm asking you all, when the time is right, to do as we say. The rally, organized by members of the United Hearts movement, came just a day after Touadéra said he would call a referendum in a Facebook address. His supporters say he's helped bring back a semblance of order to the country. We think the referendum we're going to vote on is a good thing. It's going to bring about change, and we're very happy about that. Touadéra's opponents have already accused him of seeking to extend his rule despite constitutional limits.
Fighting in Sudan has left hundreds of thousands of Khartoum residents without basic amenities like water, medicine and food, with some forced to risk their lives and seek it out as the fighting rages on. The rapid support forces bombarded us and burnt our place. Look at our state, look over there, show our sick children. I need a ticket for Cairo. I have 4 girls and I do not want to stay here because there aren't any mattresses, beds or anything. We are sleeping on the floor. We have nowhere else to sleep. Many inhabitants are in need of medicine and also means to move out of the conflict zones. There are some issues within the shelters, the biggest being the sewage problem, and thus in the 4 main centers. In addition, we are facing major lack of medication based on what the center's director said. The fighting across Sudan has killed more than 1,800 people, according to the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project.
And that is all the news in international news. Let's now look at sports. In our sports news, Lionel Messi will play his final game for Paris Saint-Germain against Clermont on Saturday, says manager Christophe. BBC Sport reported in May that the 35-year-old Argentina forward would leave when his contract ends this summer. Messi, who joined on free transfer from Barcelona in July 2021, helped PSG win 2 successful League One titles. PSG increased security at the homes of Messi forward Neymar, midfielder Marco Verratti, and last month following protests from fans. It followed a defeat by Lionel and Messi, being suspended for 2 weeks after traveling to Saudi Arabia without PSG's permission. He later apologized to his teammates. Messi captained Argentina to victory at the 2022 World Cup, and following his return from the tournament appeared set to stay at PSG. The two parties reached an agreement in principle to extend his stay by a year before changing their minds. Messi has 21 goals and 20 assists for PSG in all competitions this season, and 32 goals in 74 matches for the club overall. PSG have been knocked out of the Champions League at the last 16 stage in the past 2 seasons. We end the news, but before we go, let's look at the top stories. Former Zambia Revenue Authority Commissioner General Kingsley Chanda arrested. CHACHACHA political party backs mining in the lower Zambezi. Casual workers at Zambia's biggest hospital accuse management of non-remitting pension contributions. In international headlines, Senegalese opposition figure SONKO sentenced to 2 years in prison for corrupting young people. PSG manager confirms Lionel Messi's departure. We now look at the Camnet verse for today, coming from John 12, verse 25. It reads, "Anyone who loves their life will lose it, while anyone who hates their life in this world will keep it for eternal life." Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the entire production and news crew, my name is Louisiana Lupombwe. Bye-bye.